yet another edition of the Scholars in Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek.
Toodle Pippin Cheerio, Mr. Fool.
And to my other right is Scholar Brian. How's it going, sir?
What he said in a much more American accent.
Yes, it is that usual time of the year where we go off to London, England.
Where WWE just continues to just not give a shit. Which
It's
is why
the
we're
one
not
week-
giving a shit.
It's the 1 week of the year where nothing the WWE does actually matters.
Unless you're in London.
Not even.
Hell, even the London crowd knew they just didn't care.
Well, yeah,
It's the one show a year where all the overseas people win.
No, they don't. Not always. Hell, Jack Gallagher didn't win this week.
well, we'll break it down
That
a little bit
hometown
more.
hero bullshit that we
Meh.
continuously
We'll break it
discuss
down
about.
in somewhat further detail later on. But first, let's check in on our friends behind the curtain with a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed. He kind of took my peeking behind the curtain bit, so let's just go in a little...
Backstage news.
That was a rah, not a meh.
Meh.
He has to change up a bit.
London man.
London meh. Toodle pip.
Tea
Poodle Pip man.
and biscuit man.
Oh boy, gotta love stereotypes sometimes.
Cookies.
Okay, but on a somewhat serious note, there is a bit of good news this week because we are welcoming this week into the world the daughter of Brian and Bree Danielson.
Hey.
Little birdie.
Yes, Birdie Joe Danielson.
Birdie Joe.
Birdie.
We posted it on our page the day of the announcement, so we're just talking about it on the show now. Congratulations. Congratulations, Brian and Bree. It's the only time I actually will congratulate Bree on something.
Hey,
It's better than nothing.
It works.
Baby names just keep getting weirder and weirder, man.
Yeah, I think the longer they step away from wrestling, the bigger hippies they become.
Do you really think...
Well, have you seen the beard man? He's been a hippie for life.
I feel like when they have her on her first day of school, they're going to be singing, "Bye, bye, birdie.
Oh,
Have a good day of school, Dad."
oh, please. It's going to be worse when she becomes a teenager.
My daddy's a vegan.
Oh, no, that's not what I was thinking.
So how many episodes?
initials.
So how many episodes of Total Divas do you think will deal with this?
Or Total Bellas.
Probably for maybe a month.
Who cares?
Just watch. She'll end up being on the show when she's like 15 years from now.
Oh God! Oh, you're saying that the show's gotta last 15 years?
Yes! Enjoy it!
Well, either
Embrace
way,
it.
congratulations goes out to the happy couple with their brand new child. Best wishes to all of you.
Just watch. Birdie Joe is going to turn, 20 years from now, is going to turn into the new women's champion.
You know what?
She's going to be a submission master.
Weirder things have happened.
She's going to be the greatest female submission wrestler on the planet, but the trade-off is between holds, she's just going to scream bird mode at the top of her lungs.
Bird mode.
It's like Birdie Joe Bryan versus the veteran of Noelle Foley.
Oh, jeez. Future of the women's division, kids. Gotta love it. Oh, boy. The places where our mind goes.
With Frank the Clown as the manager.
No, special guest referee.
He doesn't deserve it.
Well, yeah, he's a heel referee.
He doesn't deserve it.
Noelle Foley
Even as
is the defending champ. She and Frank the Clown are heels. And then, yeah, Birdie Joe Bryan Danielson comes in being the plucky babyface. It just works.
You think she's gonna be like the Brie Bella babyface, or like a Bailey, where I'm just so happy and the kids love me?
Imagine Bailey, but a better submission specialist who just yells in a really shrill voice every once in a while.
You really think she's gonna be like that in 20 years?
Yes.
It's called a fantasy.
I mean, I have the DeLorean parked in a garage somewhere. We could check it out.
Save that for not next week, but maybe a couple weeks from now.
Right.
I've got a plan.
There you go.
We do need to bust that DeLorean out. It's been a long time.
Yes, we do. But unfortunately, that time is not now.
Time.
Time.
Puns.
Puns. But anyway, speaking of time, transitions, let's talk about this week in wrestling, which, as if you're WWE, all their shows have taken place in London, England this week.
Indeed. It is I guess it's time to go a little Raw versus Smackdown Live. Sip, sip, sip. Toodle pip. Cheers. Biscuits. Yum yums.
Crumpets.
Guess what? Everything sucked. There we go.
Well, to be clear here, it's not that everything sucked per se to me. It's more the fact that we knew it was pre-taped, so it took a certain bit of edge out of it for me.
Well,
and it's also okay. Every year at this time, the WWE goes to London. Okay, and they stagnate for the week. Okay, like they have their storylines already set up. Okay, going into the upcoming pay-per-views and all that. And it's just, for some reason, whenever they go to England this week in April, everything is just stagnant. The crowd doesn't care.
Which is usually weird because it's the London crowd. They do care.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Recently, they really don't. And every year, it's the same thing. Agreed. The pre-taping does take the edge off, but it's also you don't really have a choice with that.
Again,
but,
it's just an observation. Not really anything.
You don't really have a choice with the pre-taping, but you have a choice with the way that you book the shows. Okay, and every year it's just stagnant and boring. Whether it's taped or not, it doesn't affect the quality of a show. If it's stagnant and boring, it's going to be boring no matter whether it's taped or not. So, and the recent history shows that the London shows are really boring. Nothing really happens, and it's just they're just trying to get to. They're holding water for the next weeks.
Yes, and we'll go cover all of that in further detail. But as far as the specifics of Raw, one good thing I can say about this week, and just start kicking things off with Monday Night Raw, we're getting more Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns.
Damn it, man! Turn your phone off.
I thought I did. My bad.
Not really, because they. We
got more Braun Strowman and Kalisto.
I'm thinking of last week, but yeah, there was. All right, let's get into breakdown with the Raw. Well, yes, it's interesting that they were gonna continue that they kind of continued that storyline where Kalisto's kind of like, okay, you destroyed me, I got to get some redemption out of this. Even though it really led to nothing.
Yeah, okay, Kalisto.
That's on the bright side, I do like his new gear.
I like his new gear as well.
Yes,
it separates from the Lucha Dragons. Way back when. Well, I guess we got to bring up the big story. The big story that came from this week was the fact that Dean Ambrose and The Miz were guest general managers since Kurt Angle decided not to show up, apparently, for unknown reasons.
Which this just goes.
He hates them foreigners.
It makes me happy that the main focus of Raw right now, because of what's going on with Braun Strowman behind the scenes, the main focus of Raw right now is the Intercontinental title. Whether it's for good or for bad, however you want to think of it, the focus of Raw right now is the Intercontinental title. They're getting the most time. They're getting the most segments. And that makes me happy for that specific title. And Dean Ambrose and The Miz, whether it's a recycled storyline or not, they're always good to see as foes in the ring, on the mic, and that deal. So that's a plus for me.
All right, when it comes to specifically the storyline with The Miz and Dean Ambrose, being the general managers, co-general managers, and them putting each other in matches. The Miz against Finn Balor, and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. When it comes to how it was booked, I'm gonna pro it, because it is intriguing. It's keeping them, like you said, Brian, the main focus, which is the Intercontinental Championship, which you guys already know. I'm already happy for. At least they're showing that while Brock Lesnar is in Narnia with the Universal title, the main title going on that is the main focus is the Intercontinental title. Yay! Makes me a happy scholar.
Wait. Hold the phone here. Are you really saying that you like the Intercontinental Championship?
Shut up.
I never heard.
Ha ha ha! You're funny.
I never knew that.
I never.
You learn something new every day.
As I was saying.
I kid. But in all honesty, I do like that too. That they're mixing it up, at least in that way.
It's like, my biggest complaint with this Raw was not that, like, I was bored, but it's mainly because it felt like they were going through the motions. It didn't feel like they were really trying to make this a very good show, and it showed with their matches. And when it came to each of their matches, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I'm going to con it, and it's because it doesn't progress anything. It was just time wasting, and it was more story than an actual match, and it didn't progress either Finn Balor or Bray Wyatt, which, remember, Bray Wyatt did attack Finn Balor, yet they didn't even touch each other this week.
Right.
And that's basically the moral of the story with this show. Okay, in most ways, there was no progression. Really.
Yeah,
when you think about it.
Yeah, that was the biggest takeaway for me this week in London as far as the Monday Night Raw London show. I've noticed that I think they just played it too safe overall. It was at that weird point of the year where they wanted to give the London crowd a good, solid show since they don't come around as much. And plus, they're in sort of a weird holding pattern until the next Raw pay-per-view. So, to me, this just came across as they're playing a little safe. They did things a little bit more on the safe and generic side. And it just didn't work for me. Couple that with the fact that it was pre-taped and...
The pre-tape meant nothing for me because I avoided spoilers as much as possible.
I did too, but again, there's a separate reason I'll get into later.
And as for the Braun Strowman Roman Reigns thing, down. Con, I hated every second of it. We didn't need any progress with Kalisto. It was just more, it was like, yeah, he can destroy you with one arm, and then they just used it as an excuse to take Braun Strowman off TV as he recuperates from his injury.
His injury that will leave him off of TV for 2 months, and that makes me a sad panda.
It makes me a very sad scholar.
That too.
But I will say, really, there was really two major highlights that came from this show. And I'm just going to start with the lesser one first, and that was just the progression between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax.
Yeah, that I do agree. That was nice.
It just, like, their backstage segment, like, you really think I'm great? Well, okay, I'll remember that. Until when you finish off with Bayley, you're gonna have me. But until then, I'm gonna be your best friend. And it's like, this is where the plucked chickens. I can't wait to see where they go from here. And apparently we're going to have it was Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James. So I guess for the time being, with Alexa Bliss and Bayley, once they're done, we have a Mickie James versus Nia Jax feud, which is interesting enough. Mickie James' comeback is just really putting over the younger talent.
And you know
As
what?
it really should be.
Yeah, and especially as someone with Mickie James' experience, I'm sure that she can really make Nia Jax look amazing, which personally I think Nia Jax really needs right now. She needs to look better.
She needs to look like the beast that the WWE is trying to make her. And after her feud with Sasha Banks obviously didn't work. So if they want her to look like a beast, the best person to do it with is someone who knows how to make people look like a beast. And Mickie James made Beth Phoenix look amazing. So it's been done before with Mickie James. Why not try it again? And that's
with
fine.
that storyline, I will give the thumbs up. I will pro it, but I will give Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox the con down.
I'll give that the con down because anything involving Alicia Fox ever is
such a
is bad.
I honestly, they emphasize with Alicia Fox keeping her shoulder up. I seriously doubt that was actually supposed to happen. She just messed it up because she sucks. Okay. Now moving on to the actual more positive thing was that tag team turmoil.
Yes.
That was the real highlight of the show for me. It was when it comes to really the storyline plus the wrestling.
Yes.
I loved and it's not just because Cesaro and Sheamus.
You saw the look on my face.
I saw the look on your, and it's not just because they took down the entire Raw tag team division.
I like the fact that this is where this tag team should have gone from the very beginning. With their battles against each other, where they could not beat each other in that fifth and final match.
They should have gone heel before?
Not even heel, just the way they're being now. Just like we're taking everybody out. Not whether it's
that's more a heel tactic.
But
I actually think their progress is actually very natural. Like with them first getting along with that stupid bar fight segment.
That was amazing. That was another thing that was so stupid. It was entertaining as hell.
It was stupid, and I get what they were going for, but I didn't like it. I like that they're progressing. That Sheamus is trying to do Cesaro's way, and then they both built up frustrations with the Hardys being the nostalgia act.
But I do like that we're finally at the point now where they were back when they were against each other, and they're back to being the badasses.
I love their
who can't be taken down even by each other.
I love their new slogans like we don't raise the bar, they are the bar. I'm like, that's actually really badass. I dig it too. Yeah. And I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do this just to throw a dig at our friend, our co-host of Hell in a Forum, JML. Sheamus has the best cash-in the history of Money in the Bank cash-ins. Okay.
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Only because it made you cry.
But I will say, I really hope it's probably only because they went to London, but I love the Sheamus and Cesaro chant that they brought back from WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Sheamus and Cesaro. Da, 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 da. Sheamus and Cesaro. Da, 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 da. Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh, bro. Sometimes it just works.
And they're just really, when the Hardys came out and Sheamus and Cesaro da, 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 bailed, it's just, you see the slowly progression of the beginning of the broken Matt Hardy gimmick.
Break them already.
Well, they're probably going to be broken at Extreme Rules.
Please do.
They're going to be, and Sheamus and Cesaro take back
the tag titles, and that's
the tag titles and break the Hardy Boys.
That's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
Because now when I'm trying to think back of what else happened on Raw, maybe just
I got nothing else.
Just the Cruiserweight division. I liked
TJ Perkins.
No. That's not his name anymore. It's TJP now.
Oh.
Because, he got the Cesaro treatment of getting rid of the Antonio.
Wait, do that again.
TJ Perkins. Ah!
That's his new name now.
Hell, who did he face?
TJ
Jack
Perkins.
Gallagher.
Ah!
Oh, what? I thought that was... For some reason, I was thinking that match happened on 205 Live.
No, it happened on London, and that's to tell you how memorable this match was.
Well, it was so disappointing.
Perkins. Ah!
It's so disappointing because those two could put on a good match, and well, I really didn't focus on it because I fell asleep during that point of Raw. That's how much energy that this show gave me. But that was actually really it that came out of Raw. When it comes to like major storylines and progressions, as much as they gave us, it's so funny that now the Intercontinental Championship, like I thought they were going to save that for Extreme Rules, but it's actually next week or on the next Raw. So
I'm sure we'll have lots more to talk about when that eventually happens.
Yeah, right.
But in the meantime, we got Smackdown. This one, I'll be honest, I'm one of those people who really likes to see new things all the time. And
Smackdown is the land of opportunities.
Yes, just something fresh. And you know what? I'm going to come right out and say it, since it's been a while since we really talked about Jinder Mahal. I really like Jinder Mahal. I love what they're doing with him. I hope he wins the title. And I hope they push him to the moon and he stays on top for a long, long time.
Do not hinder Jinder.
I will say...
Bring back that catchphrase. Let it stay there. It's great. Please let it happen.
At least they're actually doing something right when it comes... Yes, he's number one contender. He actually is... They're actually trying to build him up as a threat for Randy Orton, which they kind of solidified with him pinning Randy Orton in the 6-man tag match when it was Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, and Jinder. When it comes to I don't even remember the opening segment that led to that 6-man tag, but that's just the normal SmackDown trait that'll just never go away. Thank you, Teddy Long. Holla holla.
I'll play.
But when it came to the 6-man tag match, it was actually a pretty good, straightforward tag.
Straight up
6-man tag.
Tell you what, the storylines on SmackDown with Jinder Mahal, whatever. But the wrestling, as always, on SmackDown is very good.
They have one more week to put you in that place. Like, does Jinder really belong in that?
Like,
yes, he does.
Here's my deal.
I'm not asking you.
I'm saying it anyway.
To me, it seems like this is an obvious placeholder feud. Not like to me, it seems. Now, obviously, there is every chance in hell that this can go the complete opposite direction, as most of my predictions are going this year. But it seems to me that this is a placeholder feud. Jinder Mahal really has no shot. This is just a placeholder feud for Randy Orton to solidify his run as champ until his next challenger, whoever that may be.
So, but until then, what they showed. Do you pro it?
With this match in general this week, it's a pro. Yes.
They're showing that they actually are trying their best to show that he does belong there.
They're trying their best to build him up. I still think it's too little too late.
How about you, fool? With you on writing on taking some of that hinder juice, I guess you are proing this.
I am going to absolutely pro, as long as the train to WWE Championship City is still on track for Jinder Mahal, I am totally for this. I just love the idea of a guy who was in 3MB ultimately going on the juice and is now challenging for the title. The very idea of it alone just amuses me to no end, and to see it that there's a possibility, at least in my eyes, that Jinder Mahal could actually make a halfway decent champion. I'm sorry, I cannot help but enjoy the idea of that. I'm really, really looking forward to the pay-per-view next week.
And with the pay-per-view, I'm going to actually use this Scholar's Quick Talk to transition into the next big storyline that is going on with SmackDown. Do you think that this will close Backlash, or will Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler be the one to close out, especially considering that they're building Backlash for Shinsuke, since he's the one all over the he's all over the promotions.
That's actually a very good question.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, you really don't know, because it's like, does Jinder Mahal deserve the main event slot? Yeah, it's for the WWE title, but it's also not a very marquee match. While on the other hand, you have basically the top guy, the top babyface in the whole damn company in 1 month has turned into the best babyface, and it's been the best built-up match so far. So I honestly don't know.
All right, I'm gonna make an early prediction. I predict Nakamura Ziggler is going to close the show, because the spectacle that these two can put on is going to be pretty much a guaranteed delivery match. Plus, Nakamura is going to be on fire since it's his first big match on the main roster.
And come on, that main event entrance.
It's going to be great.
He's going to be in tip-top shape. And when Nakamura is in tip-top shape, the man's in his prime, no one can touch him.
I also like that they're pushing Dolph as a legit heel who could actually be a threat for him.
Yeah, and that's not the end of my logic here. The reason that they're going to do that is because I predict that, in all seriousness, Jinder Mahal is going to win the title, and with someone like Jinder Mahal, I don't think it's going to go over too well with everybody, but it will still get the belt on him. And then as far as the live crowds and everyone watching at home, Nakamura Ziggler will sort of send everyone home happy, because it'll be like, oh wow, Nakamura is everything that people have been talking about and then some. So that's ultimately my logic. Jinder Mahal is going to win the title, and then Nakamura is going to send everyone home happy.
I need to watch the last episode of SmackDown before I can make any kind of predictions. But
I know. It's still a week out before the go-home show, but that's my relatively early opinion.
But I won't be around for the prediction show next week, so I'll let you know, because I'll be enjoying Florida. Land of flowers.
My thought is that Jinder won't win because he's pinned the champion. He's pinned the champion, and normally when that happens, they don't win at the pay-per-view.
I feel like I've been wrong about that.
But it's also one of those things where I'm so certain that Jinder Mahal's got to lose that, as the listeners have known about my predictions this year, they haven't really been that good. So when I'm so convinced that someone is going to lose, put it in the bank that there's a pretty good shot that they're going to
win. well, you guys can save that for next week. At least to be in more of a detailed discussion. But what as I hinted at with your talk, Jeff, I actually do like what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler. I'm very happy that Dolph is going to be his first real opponent on the main roster. I like that Dolph is actually starting to get wins again to kind of build up his credibility to be an actual legit challenger for Shinsuke. I mean, but still, it still doesn't matter. I guess that kind of hints my prediction. But all in all, they're going to be the show-stealing match. And and to answer my Scholars Quick Talk question, I actually do think they're going to close the show. I feel like I like Jinder. He's not that big a name yet to close out a show, especially even if it's a B show. I just feel like this is Backlash's Shinsuke's show, and that they're gonna push him to the moon and to infinity and beyond.
Oh, please do. I will be a very happy scholar if that actually does come to pass.
And I guess when it comes to the rest of SmackDown, the other real I'm gonna pro Dolph and Shinsuke, but I guess the only real down or cons that I really have is just the progression of the women's division, because it's pretty much half of the women's division versus the other half, with Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina versus Becky, Charlotte, and Naomi, which people are even saying that it's too early for Charlotte to be turning face now. But I feel like this is just a time, like, even though they're setting up a 6-woman tag at Backlash, I feel like this is just time waster. I think Charlotte's face turn is going to be very, very short. And she's just going to, once this stupid storyline is over, they're going to go right back with her going after the women's title.
This is exactly what you call a filler storyline. She just showed up. The
half of the
quote-unquote heel faction of women are pissed off that she automatically jumps the line and gets a title shot. So they all combine forces, and Naomi is a fair champion. So she's like, "You screwed with my title match. Okay, I'll team up with her." And Becky and Charlotte are good friends in real life, and that's gonna play until Charlotte turns on Becky again. That's it. Because that's how it goes.
I do like that. You could definitely tell it's a different age in wrestling when the women have the heel faction and James Ellsworth is the manager, is pretty much the lackey,
right?
Or like the manager position.
You're not wrong.
It's so funny.
I never thought about that, but it makes total sense.
The only other real con that I'm going to give SmackDown is just, what the hell are they doing with Mojo Rawley? We even talked about this before we started recording tonight. Yeah, he's talking to a bunch of kids, bragging about how Andre was bullied when he was younger and he came to be Andre the Giant. And it's like, it's no matter where you come from, it's what you achieve in life. And now he became the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner, and he has the trophy. Because he keeps bragging about the trophy, I hope someone comes in to basically do something with it. It's like, okay, you're the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Whoop-de-doo. Now, what are you going to do now? That was then, this is now. And I said it before we started recording, and I'm going to say it actually on the show. I hope it comes to a point where it is a heel Zack Ryder comes in. It's just like, you're taking all the glory that that we shared, and you're just taking it all for yourself. And the trophy is the symbol of that. So he destroys the trophy, and we build a big feud between them. It gives something Zack Ryder. It gives him something new.
That is true.
Especially since the announcers keep talking about Mojo Rawley. I remember WrestleMania when they were talking about, Mojo Rawley has finally overcome the stigma of Zack Ryder. Whatever.
I remember.
It's like, what?
I remember the evil man known as JBL saying that.
Yeah, so it's like that Zack Ryder hears that while he's on the sidelines. He comes back, and there's your feud right there. Oh, you think? Just that one line is all you need.
And now, really, the last real, because it's a 2-hour show, there's not much. The only other real pro that I'll give for SmackDown is the Fashion Police.
I love that.
I've loved Breezango for a while. I loved it that they formed together when they formed together. I'm loving what they're doing now. I love the Sherlock Holmes and Watson thing that they're doing with the Law and Order Law and Order intro, and they go dun dun. Those two work off each other so well, and they crack me up each time. I love their segments, and I love that they actually walked in on the Ascension yelling at each other. It was weird. First, they thought it was Uso face paint, and Fandango is like licking it. Like, there's only one type of team that uses this type of face paint, but they haven't used face paint in a long time. The Usos, and they're following the trail of face paint handprints, and they walk in on the Ascension screaming at each other, just going, "Oh, oh, oh!" And they're just like, "We unlock the cage of the Ascension." And it just leads to them getting a match, and Breezango or Fashion Police. What do they call themselves now? Are they really?
I'm just calling themselves the Fashion Police. That's what I'm calling them.
Okay, well, the Fashion Police actually end up winning, building up their credibility as actual contenders for the Usos. And the Usos, once again, put on a pretty awesome promo. I like that they're kind of kooky. That's the best way to put it, because off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember what they said. I guess I really should have looked at it before we started recording, but they were very, very energetic. They were talking crazy, and it was working. It was really working for me, and I actually like that. I think it had something to do with the number 12.
Yeah, this version of the Usos is the best version since they've come to the WWE. Like, you have no idea what they're talking about at all times, but it's so energetic and so out there, and that when it finally comes full circle and they do their end bit or whatever, you're like, yeah. But yeah, this is the best the Usos have ever been. Breezango, Jesus, they're fantastic. I don't care what.
And the poor Ascension is stuck in nowhere.
And it's the Ascension. Does anyone care?
The longest reigning
Seriously?
NXT Tag Team Champions. Come on.
Yeah, you used to care. Does anybody care now? Seriously.
Honestly, I think this is a decent transition to the last topic I wanted to bring up tonight, which we're starting to talk about a little bit before we started recording, and that is ways you can make the overseas shows, like the London shows, the pre-taped ones for us here in the States. How do you make those better? And just going off of our conversations, the one idea I had was just mix it up. Don't play it safe. Make it something worth watching. So even though it is pre-taped, if something happens, word will spread across the internet and more people will tune in to check it out. Like, I had to check out Smackdown after the fact this week, but again, Smackdown sounds different. It sounds like a ton of fun. Meanwhile, like I said before, Raw just felt like it was very samey this week.
I'm gonna say this, okay? It's mostly Raw that has been the problem with these London shows in recent years. Basically because whenever they go to London, there's no progression in the storylines.
And that's the problem.
It's like not even playing it safe or anything like that. Because you can play it safe and still progress the storyline.
Yeah. Exactly.
What
but
Raw?
It was just way too safe.
Yeah. What Raw normally does when they go to London, they basically almost put on the same show they put on the week before. In London, okay, they don't do anything to the storylines are there, they're taking place. There's no progress in them. However, it's just a match. They have a match. That's it. Move on to the next storyline. That's the problem with Raw. SmackDown, from what I understand, is a nice change of pace because stuff actually happened, storylines progressed, everything goes the way SmackDown has been going since the brand split. But Raw, it's the same story every year. It's boring. Nothing happens that makes anyone want to give a damn. All you need to do, WWE, is have a little progression in your storylines. Have the show actually do something that matters. What happens with Raw on a normal basis is it's boring. It's boring. Nothing happens. That's the London show.
Fool, any parting thoughts on London?
And the only real thing that I really got is it's kind of a mixture of what you both said. Is that progression? Yes, I do agree with that. They can't just really put their storylines on pause and just basically do some random bit and then continue the story the next week after when they come back. The only thing that I got when I watch these shows, like what Brian said, preferably on Raw, is, and preferably what you said, Fool, is that when I was watching Raw, I just didn't get the energy. Like, I didn't get really the passion of them really enjoying what they were doing on the show. And it's like I said earlier, I felt like they're just going through the motions. It's just another show for them. They're just not really giving a damn what they do, or it's not what they do, but how they do it, how much they show that they're interested in. So when it came to the show, it took me out of it, just because I felt like these guys, they don't feel like they're actually trying. They're not really caring of what they're doing of what they're doing on the show. So if they're not really caring, why do I need to care? Do I care just because we talk about it on a podcast show every week? I don't want it. I don't want that to be the only reason. And of course, because it's a pre-taped show, it's the fact that they edit the audience reactions to how they want the audience to react.
Yeah, you need to stop that.
They need to stop that shit right. I'm going to pull you, Brian. Stop that shit right now.
I mean, like, I understand they need to be pre-taped because they're like 8 hours in advance or whatever, but it's don't edit the reactions of the shows. That it makes it seem even faker than it already than it's already believed to be.
You definitely can hear it when Roman Reigns comes out, and you start to hear the thunderous boos
and then
coming out,
silence.
and then you just hear silence because they turn the audience volume down. And I was like, "Yep, they don't give a shit about their people, or they don't give a shit about the customers." At least that's how I'm feeling. They're not giving a shit about how the customer feels because they're not reacting the way they want the audience to react.
Yeah, no.
That's really the only real complaint I had, or at least two complaints I had when it came to this. When it comes to the London shows, but really, one of them actually is a legit argument, and one is actually just an argument that I have with WWE most of the time. Is just them getting upset with how their audience is reacting. How it's the complete opposite of how they want the audience to react.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really the only real complaint or thing I can say about the London shows.
And that's honestly enough. So you've heard our opinions. Now we're turning it over to you. Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. What do you think of the London shows? How would you do it differently? Also, you can get into contact with us. Drop us a line on our Facebook page. Just run a little search there for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And, of course, my personal favorite, you can always get in touch with us on Twitter. Our main account is at ScholarsOW. Fool, where can they reach you at on your personal Twitter?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
And Mr. Brian Sir.
At Atomic Beanpole.
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. I'm Robbie Rage. I'm all one word.
Hey!
I feel like no matter what I say, it's always going to be get a reaction out of you too.
You could just cut out the all one word, and it's like my Twitter machine.
The more you say it, the more he's got to do it.
It's like
so
the more you're just like now you're just like no matter what. It's like you're building. It's like your mind was conflicted. It's like should I say it? Should I say it? Are they expecting me to say it?
I'm never gonna walk away unscathed with this, am I?
Nope.
Just say, and I'm at Robbie, and you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage. Done.
Oh, one word.
He's the one who's actually pumped about it more.
You are all driving me nuts. You know why? Because you know who we are. We're the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. Let's all learn how to use Twitter.
Please?
Add it to your name.